Hot Springs, Arkansas. My name is Michael. Welcome to our class. Here's our question for this evening. How can the total destruction of the people of Midian in Numbers chapter 31 be morally justified? Now, first off, let's turn to Numbers chapter 31, verse 1. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take vengeance on the Midianites for the children of Israel. Afterward you shall be gathered to your people. So Moses spoke to the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves for war, and let them go up against the Midianites, to take vengeance for the Lord on Midian. Now, let's answer the question, who are the Midianites? We believe the Midianites are descendants of a man named Midian. Now, who was Midian? Well, remember Abraham and Sarah? Well, when Sarah died, Abraham took a new woman into his life. Her name was Keturah, and one of her sons was named Midian. But what had the Midians tried to do against Israel when Israel came up from Egypt? And they're trying to go into the promised land. What do? They tried to lure the people of Israel away from Jehovah God. You see, the people of Midian were not worshipers of God. They were horrible people, people that were involved in children's sacrifice. They sacrificed their own children to their false gods. They were involved in so many horrible, horrible sins. And God did not want His people, the Israelites, to be influenced by them anymore. So He ordered their destruction. Now, how can that be justified? Well, do you know anyone who's ever had a limb amputated, maybe a leg or whatever? Why did the doctor do that? Why did the doctor cut off a limb, a leg, say, for example? Well, they did it to save the body. They knew that if they did not do something with that disease in that leg, that disease would then take the whole body and the person would die. So it's better to lose a limb than to lose your life. The same principle applies here. To save the body, to save the children of Israel, we have to eliminate all the bad that was around them. That was the reason why God told them to go in there and they wipe out Jericho and gives them all those victories, because why? You need to eliminate the temptation. You need to eliminate all the bad influence. Now, unfortunately, they didn't do that. Unfortunately, for Israel, they failed to drive out the enemy. Even though God was with them, the victory was assured. They did not have enough faith, and they failed. And because they failed, they likewise would drift away from God. And we have the story of the judges. You have oppression by the enemy. You have Israel crying out for help. God would send them a leader. We call him a judge. It's not a judge like in a courtroom scene. It's a judge that's a leader. He would lead them back to victory, and they would follow God for a little while, and then once again they would be tempted by the people around them, and they would end up drifting away from God, and they would come back under oppression, once again have to cry out for God. God would send them a leader, a judge, and you see the cycle just over and over. Yes, we may look at this and say, well, that's horrible that all those people died. It's helping Israel to survive. It's punishing the Midianites in this case for their sins. You see, sin will always be punished. Now, in today's world, it's going to be punished at the judgment when the sinners are sent for eternity into hell. Right now, they've got a reprieve. Everything is okay. But when the judgment comes, whenever Jesus comes back and the judgment starts, they have no hope. It's up to you and me to do what we can to try to pull them to God before it is too late. At this time, help me out. Please click on share and let's increase the audience for these classes. That would be so much appreciated. Hey, you got questions? I'm looking for your questions. Right now, I'm doing questions that have been given to me over the years. Hey, why don't you send me your question and I can answer your question for you. We have classes each day, Monday through Saturday, 7 o'clock, fundamentals, Bible investigation at 9 o'clock. We also have classes for young people on the weekends. We'd love to have you join us for those classes. Would you like to do a deeper study? We've got you covered. HotSpringsChurchOfChrist.org has some marvelous study tools all waiting for you. Have you downloaded my free app? I'm talking about Truth.fm. Truth.fm. Also, hey, check out the free correspondence course. Just mail us your mailing address and we'll send it to you. And then our final freebie to give you is our publication, House to House. Once again, just send us your mailing address. At the 70 West Church of Christ, you're always a guest. We'd love to have you come out and visit us anytime. We meet to worship in the building located at 948 Airport Road. Now, as we close out, it is our hope, it is our wish, it is our prayer that each one of us live for Jesus 24/7.